The creature had no name that could be spoken without fear. The imperial court of the Veyron dynasty called it Crothvel, loosely translated as the Devourer of Patience, and that name had been earned across 17 years of carnage, broken handlers, and one very unfortunate incident involving the High Chancellor's ceremonial robes. Crothvel was Emperor Kael Veyron's war beast. A Sorvian apex predator, 800 kilograms of obsidian scales, 6 razor-tipped limbs, and 2 heads that could independently decide to end you. Each of those heads possessed an intelligence roughly equivalent to a seasoned military general. Combined, they made a creature that had humiliated every beast tamer in the known galaxy. 43 handlers. 43. Each one experts, legends, champions of their species, had either fled in disgrace, been carried out on a stretcher, or in one memorable case, had simply quit civilization entirely and gone to live on a farming moon. Emperor Kael Veyron, ruler of 11 star systems, stood in the observation gallery above the beast's training chamber with his hands clasped behind his back, staring down at the wreckage of Handler No. 43's equipment. A splintered discipline rod. A shredded neural link harness. A boot, just one boot, for reasons nobody could explain. Counselor Drath, the Emperor said quietly. The silver-furred Drathkai advisor materialized at his elbow, eyes wide with the particular anxiety that came from being the person who delivered bad news to emperors. Your Magnificence. Tell me again why we need Crothvel bonded before the conclave of 6 crowns. Because, Magnificence, arriving at a galactic conclave without your dynasty's war beast would be interpreted as weakness. The Ithari Dominion's delegation has already boasted that their Empress rides her Corvith Drake into the opening ceremony. If Crothvel remains unbonded, we appear lesser. Kael's jaw tightened. Yes. I remember. He turned away from the shredded remains of No. 43's dignity. What is the next option? Drath hesitated. That hesitation alone told the Emperor everything. Say it. The Interspecies Diplomatic Liaison Office has suggested a human. Silence. Below them, Crothvel's left head lazily tore a reinforced steel door off its hinges for no apparent reason. The right head watched it fall, then looked vaguely disappointed that it hadn't made a louder sound. A human, Kael repeated. A beast tamer. Ethan Cross. He comes with unusual credentials. Drath produced a data slate, though his hands trembled slightly. He has bonded species that other tamers declared unbondable. A Vethari thornhound. A crystalline marauder from the shattered reaches. Those are lesser beasts. He also once calmed a Sorvian apex predator on the frontier colony of Mira 9. Drath paused. It had already eaten 2 shuttles. Kael looked at him. Then at the data slate. Then back at his beast, who was now using one of its 6 limbs to experimentally prod the remains of the door, apparently curious about the hinges. Bring the human. Ethan Cross arrived the next morning. He was, by the standards of the imperial court, profoundly unimpressive. Medium height. Brown hair. He wore worn field gear that had clearly been repaired multiple times. He carried no discipline rod, no neural harness, no shock collar, no ceremonial weapon of any kind. He carried a bag. What is in that bag? Counselor Drath asked, eyeing it with deep suspicion. Supplies, Ethan said cheerfully. Supplies. Yep. Kael Veyron received the human in his private viewing chamber above the beast hall, where Crothvel was currently ignoring its food, which, notably, was an entire bison elk from the Imperial hunting preserve. Both heads had looked at it, found it unworthy of their attention, and gone back to sleeping in a deliberately aggressive way. Ethan stood before the Emperor and didn't bow. Not out of disrespect, he simply looked up at the gallery window, studying the beast below with an expression of pure, unguarded delight. Oh, he breathed. Oh, that is magnificent. Kael blinked. In 17 years, no handler had used that word. Terrifying, yes. Impossible, frequently. A violation of natural law, once. But not magnificent. You are not afraid, the Emperor observed. Oh, I'm a little afraid, Ethan said honestly. That's the right amount of afraid. Keeps you sharp. He tilted his head, watching Crothvel's right head stir slightly in sleep. How long has it been since someone approached them without a control device? No one approaches without a control device. That is how we lost Handler 7. Ethan unshouldered his bag. Can I go in? The entire gallery of advisors inhaled sharply. Handler number 43, Drath said carefully, lasted 9 minutes with a full neural suppression harness and a team of 6. I won't need 9 minutes. Ethan smiled. Can I go in? Kale studied the human for a long moment. There was something strange about him, not a lack of fear, exactly, but a relationship with it. Like a man who had been afraid so many times that it had become comfortable. Familiar. Almost friendly. If you die, the Emperor said, the interspecies liaison will be billed for the cleaning. Fair enough. Ethan Cross walked into the beast hall alone. The door sealed behind him. In the gallery, 47 courtiers, advisors, and imperial guards pressed against the observation glass. Emperor Kale Veyron did not press. He stood exactly where he was, arms folded, watching. Crothvel smelled the human immediately. The right head lifted. Then the left. 4 eyes, 2 per head, amber and ancient, locked onto the small figure standing in the center of their domain. The beast rose. 800 kilograms of apex predator unfolded itself from the ground with a sound like tectonic plates settling. 6 limbs spread wide. Both heads lowered in threat display. A sound rolled out of the creature, not quite a roar, more like the idea of a roar, a pressure that made the walls vibrate. 47 courtiers flinched backward. Ethan Cross crouched down. Not in fear. Not in submission. He crouched, the way you might crouch to be at eye level with something. His bag went to the floor. He rummaged through it, casual as a man looking for his keys. Crothvel paused. The right head tilted. Ethan pulled a piece of dried meat from the bag, dense, fragrant, from an animal that definitely wasn't on the approved imperial provisioning list, and held it out in an open palm. Hey there, he said. His voice was gentle. Warm in a way that didn't perform warmth. Rough day? Yeah. Looks like it's been a rough couple of years, honestly. Both heads stared at him. I'm not here to control you, Ethan continued, not moving from his crouch. I know the last 43 people showed up with things designed to make you do stuff. That sounds exhausting. For a creature like you. He clicked his tongue softly. 43. You're patient, actually. I respect that. The left head lowered. Slowly. Sniffing. There it is, Ethan murmured, almost to himself. Curious. Good. Curious is good. He kept the meat offered, steady. You're not a weapon, are you? You're bored. You're bored and everyone keeps treating you like a problem to be solved instead of a... The right head struck. Not at Ethan. At the meat. It took the piece from his hand with devastating precision, delicate, almost, and both heads turned to observe him afterward, as if evaluating his reaction to nearly losing a hand. Ethan grinned. Good boy, he said. In the gallery, Counselor Drath made a sound like a man whose universe had just shifted 2 degrees off its axis. Emperor Kale Veyron said nothing. He leaned forward slightly. Below, Ethan was producing more treats, talking in that same unhurried voice, and the creature, the devourer of patience, the beast that had broken 43 handlers, was lowering itself back to the ground. Slowly. Both heads tracking the human with something that was no longer threat display. It was interest. 40 minutes later, Crothvel's left head was resting on the floor approximately 2 feet from where Ethan Cross sat cross-legged, and the human was scratching behind the sensory ridges at the base of its skull while the right head watched with deeply suspicious jealousy. "Who's a good boy?" Ethan said softly. Both heads looked at him. "Yeah. Both of you. Obviously." Emperor Kale Veyron came down to the beast hall floor personally. He had not done that in 7 years. He stood at a distance that was still, technically, outside the danger radius, and watched Ethan Cross exist peacefully in the company of the most dangerous creature in 11 star systems. "How?" Kale said. It was not quite a question. Ethan looked up. Every handler came in trying to establish dominance. Control. Suppression. He scratched a different ridge. The left head made a sound like distant thunder, but contented distant thunder. "Crothvel is intelligent. Maybe more intelligent than most of your handlers." They could feel the contempt underneath the control. So they rejected it. He shrugged. "I didn't try to control them. I tried to meet them." Kale looked at his beast. Really looked, not at the war machine, not at the symbol of dynastic power, but at the creature who had, apparently, just been lonely. "The conclave begins in 3 days, the Emperor said. We'll be ready." Ethan glanced up. "One condition. You are bargaining with me." "Yeah. No apology in it. No control rigs at the conclave. Crothvel walks in free. Bonded, not chained." He met the Emperor's eyes steadily. "That's the only way this works. Controlled beasts break eventually." "A beast that chooses to be there?" He smiled. "That's something else entirely." Kale Veyron, Emperor of 11 star systems, looked at a human who had done in 40 minutes what 43 specialists could not do in 17 years, and felt something that his court might have called respect but which was, quietly, closer to awe. "Agreed," he said. Below the observation gallery, Crothvel's right head had finally given in to jealousy and nudged the human firmly for its own turn at the ear scratch. Ethan laughed, bright and unguarded, and obliged. The devourer of patience, it turned out, just wanted someone to notice it was more than its reputation. Humans, somehow, were extraordinarily good at that.